It took many brands nearly 10 years to adapt from traditional advertising to digital advertising. Now digital itself is changing at a rapid pace. So let's explore how we can adapt and move on with the change. So Chatura, in your opinion, what would you say the biggest shift in advertising right now?
So earlier when it was traditional advertising, we were dependent on getting advertising done through TV, radio, newspaper and all of that, and then the primary factor at that point was interruption. You are watching a program but it gets interrupted in the middle and there is an advertisement, right? But see, you really wouldn't mind that because there was no choice. You were watching that, and then maybe there were a couple of other channels that you can switch on to. But when the whole transformation happened from traditional marketing to digital marketing, so still traditional marketing is very strong. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying when we adapt into digital marketing, the primary factor is that you start positioning awareness, right? Because you start talking about your product, your service, and putting out posts, content. So that started off in a very mild way, where corporates and brands were advertising their products and services, and it has now evolved to such a great extent. Now you're literally fighting for attention. So awareness is no longer good enough. Attention is what you need. And right now the brand, because there's so much of content out there, there's such a lot of brands out there, such a lot of content out there, and literally everybody is deciding whether they are going to browse, skip or watch a content or read a content within just 1 to 2 seconds, or maybe maximum 2 to 3 seconds, right? So you have got to grab your audience's attention in that time span if you are to deliver your message and if you are to create that attention and awareness towards your product or brand. So that is the biggest transformational shift right now, because it's so cluttered out there. Right now the game is not awareness, it's attention.
So Chatura, why are there still brands who invest a lot on digital marketing but still struggle?
So there is something that some brands have still not realized, right? In today's context, a lot of people still create very corporate looking content. Very, you can name it. You can create still posts, carousels, even short form or long form video content. But if you're still talking about very corporate level content, very polished content, see that there is a little bit of a disparity between what people are trying to consume on social media and what brands are trying to deliver. So if you think about what audiences need or what audiences are looking for, they are basically treating social media as a platform for, like to escape from real life, to enjoy, to relax, right? So that is why you need to create content that your consumer would like to see. This is where more humanized form of content now come into play. And the radical difference in that is that you have to treat your social media platform as if you would treat your YouTube channel, or if you are having a TV channel or a broadcast. Everything you do would be to gain followers, to gain viewers, right? To grab attention. You have to think about your own content in the same way. You have to craft it, be creative about it, put a human touch on it, do something where your product or your service becomes a subtle context within the story that you're trying to get viewers to see. So this is the biggest change that you need to do if you want to make your investment work for you in today's context of digital marketing.
Okay, according to your opinion, what are the changes brands need to make immediately?
So the biggest change is consistency and frequency. Now, it used to be okay that if you can create like maybe 10-12 posts a month and post like 2-3 times a week, that would be sufficient, right? But the algorithms no longer support organic reach and engagement. Only on certain platforms do they support it, and it has now demanded that we create content at a higher frequency. Higher frequency also means we can't create content for the sake of creating content. It has to be crafted. It has to be targeted towards the audience that you need. And it has to have that human flavor in it. So that's why founder-led conversations, humanized conversations, are actually leading the way. So if you look at it now, personal brands are bigger more than ever. Founders and CEOs are leading the pack when it comes to their digital presence. It is through them that their organizations and brands are also getting their popularity. So basically, whether it's the founder's vision, employees' story, customers' journey, these are the kind of content that are sort of prominent right now and that are getting the attention right now on social media. So in my opinion, while you focus on frequency and consistency, you have to invest in the storytelling element of your content and make it more humanized.
How is AI changing digital advertising?
Good question, Manvini. So AI has really changed the game, right? So because of AI, now content can be created faster with less investment, less effort, and there's a whole lot of content out there. It's actually quite flooded right now, where brands are playing around with AI generated content. But what this also means is that you really have to fight for attention in the middle of all that chaos. And attention comes as a result of strategy, creativity, and originality. So the demand for crafting creative and original content is higher more than ever. So if your content strategy is dependent on AI generated content, yes, that will save you a lot of money, time, and effort. But if attention is what you seek, if you want to be seen and heard above your competition, then you've got to invest in more creative approaches. You've got to invest in more strategic content that appeal on a human level.
What do you think happens to brands that don't adapt now?
Well, it's a very straightforward answer. Their cost of marketing is going to increase rapidly, because the longer you take to transform, the longer you ignore what's obvious out there, your audience is going to grow distant from you. They are going to continue to ignore the content that you do. So if you don't adapt, and if you don't move fast, if you don't basically experiment and try to find what your audience is looking for, your costs are simply going to go up. And in terms of digital marketing and in terms of being competitive, that's a real blow.
If your business is still using yesterday's strategy for today's market, this is your chance to make the transformation. Follow this series of real conversations about business, marketing, creativity, and where the future is heading.